We will call the regular meeting to order. If you'll please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Calhoun. Dempsey.
Here.
Fournier.
Here.
Krapp.
Here.
McGarity.
Here.
Rick.
Here.
York.
Here.
Okay, we'll move to announcements, acknowledgments, communications, and reports. I see nothing listed on the agenda, but does anyone have anything that they want to bring forward? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to adoption of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Anybody have any questions or comments about today's agenda? Call the roll, please.
Calhoun.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Krapp.
Yes.
McGarity.
Yes.
Rick.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Okay, this is the portion of the meeting that we invite the public to address the commission. All that we ask is that you come to the microphone, give us your full name, your residential address, and you abide by our 3-minute rule. If you would like to address the commission, we invite you to the microphone.
Hello, Ruthie Stevenson, 69 Bain Street. I stand here on behalf of the Macomb YMCA. As you know, our 46th annual golf outing is coming up on the 23rd and at the Gowanus Golf Club, and it's going to be an awesome event. It's a time-honored tradition and has become a favorite event to attend. This event brings together local businesses, leaders, supporters, and volunteers for a festive day full of fun and activity. But it's more than that. Everything that is raised goes back into the community. And when I say community, I mean all of Macomb County. Our members are from all over Macomb County, including the military, and all ages. We just finished a successful summer program with over 200 and some kids, and I tell you, it was awesome, an awesome event. Everything, teaching them from swimming to ping ball, or whatever that is, and all the rest, and basketball, and just how to be themselves. And that's what we have to learn, to listen to them as they expound on what they think and what they want to be. So on September 23rd, the 24th at Gowanus Golf Club. If anybody wants any information, you can contact Susan Jarzabowski at 586-468-1411. And we just accept anything that you do, and preferably we want you to come out and golf. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the commission?
Gloria Heller, 260 Castle, damage is still alive. Yeah, I'm back. Two things. Number one, I and many residents get clobbered all the time about when we forget to cut our grass, it gets a little long. I invite any of you who feel so moved to come check the alley that runs behind my alley, parallel to Cass, between Elbridge and North Wilson, and look at the south border of JB Cutting plant number 2. 10, 12 feet, growing up one side, trees and down the other. Is it what, Animal Farm, Orwell, 1945? Sign on the wall. All animals are equal. Some animals are more equal than other animals. And then I realized what it was. On the northwest corner of the building, on Grand, just by North Wilson, I see now it says Bakes and Crop. So maybe, being that the mayor's husband's business is in there, they get some slack time. Just thought I'd ask. That's number one. Number two, I keep seeing little things when I bother with it about water bill increases. Inside my accounts payable file, stapled there, back about 40 years ago when they were building the water plant, And I'm sure I see people in the audience here who will remember it. And I've spoken with one already who said that person will vouch for what I'm saying. And anyway, I had this cute little piece of paper. This was back in the days before email and text messages from Quinny Cody. It's about Dave Baby. It says, from the desktop. And he says, roughly paraphrasing, but it's not that much to it. Ms. Howard, don't get all worked up over the quadrupling of your water bill. That's just until the plant is paid for. And it'll go back down. Tick-tock, we're waiting. And what do we hear? Raise the water bills. Do not try to justify it on the basis of, oh, it indexes for inflation. Do I look stupid? I've already done that. There's been no decreases. Cut it out. Get out of my pocket.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the commission?
Mickey Weist, 18200 Terra Drive, Clinton Township, excuse me. First of all, I apologize for charging in during your workshop. I didn't realize you were in a workshop and I had a question to ask the mayor, so I beg your forgiveness on that. I really do apologize. I want to start by saying we had a wonderful weekend. We had our concert Friday night and we had a full crowd. We had our art and craft show over the weekend. I dealt with a lot on the street with this group of new homeless people. I want you to know the sheriff's department, they were right there, they helped me. I tried a couple times during the course of the day going over in the park and asking them to, shh, they had to be quiet. I have an event going on and they're arguing and carrying on. And I told them if they didn't, I'm gonna have to call the sheriff. They're toning down. It's unfortunate. It's a new group. We don't have the kind of relationship that we have with those that have been here for a while. Our regular homeless people are staying as far away from these people as possible. And my security guards through the night on Saturday, thank God I had them. They kept them off the stage. They were setting up housekeeping there. And they told them we had to move on. They kept them out of the park. It seems now they want to set up by the clock tower. I happened to be marking the streets on Thursday for the show, and it got pretty bad, and it escalated to a point where I just stopped what I was doing and I called. They came right away. The problem we're having is they don't care to go to any of our resources that we have. I do carry cards with me trying to help them find somewhere to go. They feel safer on the street. And thank goodness again for the sheriff's department. They're addressing it from not only Main Street, but from North Walnut. But this group is pretty rough. They're smoking pot openly. They are doing crack. They are drinking openly, and they can't arrest them and take them unless they are doing something wrong. I feel almost bad for the sheriff's department because their hands are somewhat tied. We also had an incident. They stole my card on Saturday that we used to transport things to help the artists. I did get it back, but in that process, Scott from the sheriff's department did arrest and did charge the gentleman that took it with drunken disorderly. But I got my card back. He asked if I wanted to charge him for theft. I just wanted my card back. But it's really getting tough. Sorry.
Thank you.
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Jim DeFalco, 50 North Walnut. I'm gonna attach myself to what Mickey was speaking about. I'm a resident. I've brought multiple businesses here. I'm speaking in a pew full of people who are residents, employees, business owners on North Walnut, and not just there, but so I'm gonna speak on the behalf of the fact that yes, it's not just, I've been on boards of charities and I wanna help the homeless. This isn't about homelessness. This is about aggressiveness. There's violence and aggressiveness going on. And I'm afraid that we're not going to do something major until something major happens. And that's the scary thing, is that I don't want to see something bad happen. I have children that I don't want to walk to me through the streets of Mount Clemens to my apartment to get to me. I have a girlfriend who works across the street. I fear that walking across the street is unsafe. I have other business owners that I know that their businesses are affected by this because their patrons can't walk safely into their business without feeling aggressiveness. And again, this is not about asking for money. It's not about something polite, and this is aggressiveness and violence. And I've been at afternoon hours, walked up to neighbors of mine who are sitting on the street who are close to being assaulted, and we've had to call the police. The police have been called numerous times. The sheriffs have been called numerous times. And I hear you guys talking in your meeting earlier, and I fear like, okay, there's might be some things there where the sheriffs are getting charged on certain things, and like that is that part of it? Like, that I worry about some of that aspect of it too, where like, is there some aspects where they can only do so much, or they do something and they have to charge us, and so there's aspects of that, and what I worry about is not money, about safety. And we have businesses that need to thrive. We're going to spend a lot of money to make the city beautiful right now, and we want people to come here, but we can make it as beautiful as we want. And if the city's not safe, no one's coming. And that's more important than just an uplift of a street and a nice stage and things like that. So I'm speaking on behalf of the same thing that Mickey was speaking about. We're already safe. I want my kids to be able to walk to me from the parking lot and know that I'm within a reasonable safety to get to them. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the commission at this time? Come on up.
Hi, Charles Smith, at 60 North Walnut. I live above Studio 58 Hair Salon, right next to the park. And what Mickey and Jim have said is 100% true. And the only thing that I wanted to add to it is I've been there for 28 years. This past August, and I've never had to look over my shoulder. I fear my wife coming in and out of our home. Myself, I'm finding myself looking over my shoulder, and it's really becoming a problem. And I've gotten to know a lot of the homeless down there that have been there for a while. Never had any problems. They're nice. We help them out whenever we can. But this new group, I don't know where they came from. It's no good. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the commission at this time? Thank you very much for coming today, and we appreciate your comments. We don't normally answer, but I think when we come to the agenda item for Macomb County Sheriff Department contract, you'll probably hear some of the things that you're looking for. So if you stick around. All right, we'll go ahead and move on then to, I said, did anyone else, right? Sorry. Okay. All right. We'll move on to administrative responses to issues or questions raised during previous meetings.
Yeah, so if you remember, nice gentleman, Mr. Lupo, was in here, and he's kind of questioning whether our handicap parking could be free. Of course, we have a parking study on the agenda tonight, so I think the easy answer is that's a great place to address that situation. I did discuss it with DPW director. We thought there was provision out there, so I went online, I did find it. So you're eligible for a free parking sticker from the state. You must have a valid Michigan driver's license and permanent disability parking plat card, which is the blue one, and be unable to do one or more of the following. Just insert coins or tokens in the parking meter or accept a ticket from a parking lot machine due to lack of fine motor control of both hands. Reach above your head to a height of 42 inches from the ground due to lack of finger, hand, or upper extremity strength or mobility. Approach a parking meter due to use of a wheelchair or other ambulatory device. Walk more than 20 feet due to an orthopedic cardiovascular or lung condition in which the degree of debilitation is so severe that it almost completely impedes your ability to walk. So there is a provision out there now that could be utilized under those circumstances.
How would the parking meter person know that?
They get a
Because it's-
sticker.
because it's sticker on it.
It's, the sticker identifies all those.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
And we'll make sure that
Yeah.
now that we know, they look.
Interesting.
Didn't know that, yeah.
Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments on that one for Mr. Shipman? Okay, we'll move to approval of minutes.
Move to approve the minutes as presented.
Support.
Questions or comments about the minutes? Okay, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
McGarity,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
York. Yes. Calhoun.
Yes.
All right, general business 9A, the second public hearing for downtown maintenance assessment. I will entertain a motion to open the public hearing on the special assessment.
Move to open the public hearing on the special assessment for the downtown maintenance program.
Support.
Any questions or comments about opening the public hearing? Call the roll, please.
Fournier,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
McGarity,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Calhoun,
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Mr. Shipman?
The first public hearing on the special assessment for the downtown maintenance program was held on September 3rd, 2024. Second public hearing is scheduled for tonight, September 16th, 2024. The purpose of the first hearing was to address the necessity for the project. The purpose of the second hearing is to review and confirm the special assessment roll as prepared by the city assessor.
Okay, we do invite the public to comment on this the downtown maintenance program. If any of the members of the public, again, we ask that you come to the microphone, give us your full name, your residential address for the record, and abide by our 3-minute rule. But we ask that you stick to this subject of downtown maintenance. Is there anyone who would like to address the commission at this time on this? All right, seeing none, we will go ahead and entertain a motion to close the public hearing on special assessment.
I move to close the public hearing on the special assessment for the downtown maintenance program.
Support.
Any questions or comments on that? Call the roll, please.
Crop,
Yes.
McGarity,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Calhoun,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Okay, now I'll entertain a motion for the special assessment.
I move to confirm special assessment roll number 24-03.
Support.
Okay, Mr. Shipman, I guess you already read that, so we can, everyone go ahead and ask questions or comments on this one. I will just tell you, since this is the first, I think this is our first go around with this one, isn't it?
Second.
No, I'm sorry. When we see, I'm sorry.
Oh, where we
This is
see-
some of our commissioners' first year of the special assessment.
Yes.
And so you'll see now on this that you'll get to actually see numbers associated with each properties and how much that impacts each property. So that's something different that you're seeing. And yeah. Questions and comments? Yeah, Commissioner York.
So it's calculated on the frontage, right? And the vacant buildings, the ones that aren't occupied, there's nothing calculated for them. If they become occupied, do they?
Everybody,
Everything is.
all frontage
Oh,
within
they
the district.
definitely get it.
Okay,
I think they should get double. But.
yeah. So you're saying that those buildings that aren't occupied, and the owners are charged this assessment fee?
Correct.
The owners are charged the assessment fee for all of it, right?
Yeah, so it's
They
broken down by
pass it
primary or
down.
secondary
Yeah.
street. So
Anybody else have any questions or comments?
I appreciate the property by property breakdown.
It's good info. All right, we'll call the roll, please.
McGarity,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Calhoun,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Crop.
Yes. Okay, general business 9B, Macomb County Sheriff Department contract for 25 through 27. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the agreement with the Macomb County Sheriff's Office for law enforcement services, the intergovernmental agreement for regional emergency dispatch services covering the period of January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2027.
Excellent. Okay, Mr. Shipman.
Our agreement with the Macomb County Sheriff's Office for law enforcement services and the intergovernmental agreement for regional emergency dispatch services expires December 31st, 2024. The Sheriff's Office is requesting the City Commission approve the attached 3-year agreements which cover the time period starting January 1, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2027. The dispatch agreement contains no changes from our current agreement except for dates and cost. Following page contains cost breakdown for services provided by these agreements. These include the costs associated with 1 sergeant, 16 deputies, 4.2 dispatchers, and 6 vehicles. Overhead and ancillary expenses include other supervisor costs, liability insurance, equipment purchases and supplies. Vehicle expenses include the purchase of new vehicles, maintenance, and gas.
Okay. Questions, comments?
I think maybe we should let everyone know what the total is that we're paying for these. So, I mean,
Go right ahead.
that you can see we are spending the money. So I think 2025, 3,842,000, right? 3,842,281. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
A lot of money.
And it
near
goes up
4
every
million
year.
that we're paying for the sheriff's department in that in town. And it increases quite significantly to 2027 for 4,066,000. So
And we should probably also mention that our annual budget is around 14 million. So this is a pretty sizable chunk of our budget. And also that they've requested more deputies. And we've told them unless they can get things under control, because we had a work session with the sheriff already. And one of the specific complaints that we had was that their substation literally looks at the bridge, that we have had to spend $5,000 to $6,000 for the last 2 to 3 years repeatedly because we have hazmat situations going on underneath because there are homeless people living under that bridge that they can see from their substation. And it's never been dealt with. So you can probably tell my blood pressure is rising. And so, and I've told them basically that fact that until they can get things under control, don't ask us for more. And so, you know, I feel that the county also has a responsibility for all of these county buildings that also call whenever there's an issue, and they call our sheriff because of course they're right here, our deputies. So they also have a responsibility that they don't pay any taxes to us. I think personally, they should do something about that they're a burden on our community, and that, you know, it is a burden on our police force. So they came to us and gave us a list of things that we supposedly get in addition because they're here and because that we have the sheriff. And I have nothing against the deputies. They're fine men and women. But I am not happy with the service that we're getting currently. And especially specifically because of this homeless issue that we have had sit-down meetings and tried to address. Tried to come up with solutions, tried to ask for their input in how it can be dealt with, told them to arrest people when they're breaking the law. All the things that you mentioned, smoking pot in public, against the law. Drunk and disorderly, against the law. Aggressive to people, against the law. I'm only asking them to uphold our ordinances and the law. It's all we're asking. We want to be kind to everyone. But if you're going to make this place unsafe, you're not welcome here. So I'll get off my soapbox, sorry. Commissioner Calhoun.
Oh, I agree with you on pretty much all of that. For me, it is a little frustrating that we're paying in 2027 nearly $200,000 more to receive the exact same services that we're receiving today. know the costs are going up across the board for everything, and so it does make sense. The county implemented 6% wage increase for every county employee, which I think is fantastic for county employees. I'm not a county employee.
That's so nice.
But I will say though, and of course, you know, the individual unions could also have increases. So, you know, I think that when I'm looking at this, that does factor into this. It makes sense. I am also frustrated. I do feel that when I first got on the commission, they provided a lot more information to us on what was going on in the city. And when they came forward to us to recommend additional deputy positions and the different options, it's really hard to figure out what we need when we don't know what's going on. And so I feel that the county, you know, if this is going to be a partnership that can, you know, that continues, and it has to here, I really would like to see more on their side in terms of what's really going on. How can we get them, how can we support them so that they can continue to protect our streets and so that we can improve on that front? But we just don't know what we don't know. And so I thought we would see improvement on that front already. I don't think we have. And so I think that's worth noting. I also agree that the county needs to step up because they are, while they provide amazing services for residents of the county, you know, Mount Clemens has the burden of holding all those services, and it makes it extremely difficult for us.
Thank you, Commissioner Kellerman. Anybody else? Yep, go ahead. Commissioner York.
I also feel that when they came to us with some ideas, we voiced a lot of concerns and things that we wanted to see, but I see, you know, the proposals in front of us, and we're not seeing any conversation even about the things we asked for. I think we asked the person who presented and gave us, you know, the outline. We asked for him to go back and get some more information, but it is a big ask, and we want to make sure we're getting what we're paying for. And if our community is saying they are afraid, then we need to take steps to fix that. And I know it's a hard situation to address, homelessness, but if they were there consistently all the time without waiting to be called, those people would move on. I don't think that's the answer. I'd rather we get them help, but if they're not looking for help, then they can move on to somewhere else where they're not going to get police presence all the time. So I'm disappointed that we're hearing more of what we voiced during the workshop.
Thank you.
From my end, so I had a meeting
Yeah, please.
2 weeks ago, kind of, you remember?
Yeah, something like that.
And so we have a new sergeant for the station. So now what they have is they have to do so many patrols a shift in the downtown, and the officer that does it has to sign off on it. They can check, the officers are tracked, they know where the car is at, they know where the officer's at. So they spot check the log to make sure they actually did what they said they did. And so we're hoping that these increased patrols will help. And obviously it should. And we're now working on ordinances that will give them more tools to work with to do their job.
Awesome.
We just had, talked to Robin Rosemary today about a couple ideas we have, so I think the commission will see that shortly.
That's what I was going to ask about. Awesome.
Yeah.
Already ahead of us. That's great.
We have been trying to work on it. Yes.
Quick question. Why is for a contract that takes effect in January, what's the significance of doing it in September?
They said they needed that much time. They wanted it by the end of September if possible. Whatever process they have on their end, it goes before the County Board of Commissioners. They just asked that we try to get it done if possible.
There's like a couple boards at the county it's got to go through for budgets. I've learned it's like a budget pre-board thing.
you know, to voting on this tonight, I would vote yes because we need to, you know, maintain services from the sheriff's office. But as I mentioned before, I am still frustrated that we didn't get answers. And I do feel that other commissioners share the frustration. So I do understand their timeline. I also think from the time we had the workshop until now, we've had plenty of time to come back before us and get us more information. And I'm thankful for the work that the sergeant's done, the city manager's office. But I just want to make it known that they had plenty of time to get back to us with some more of these answers to answer our questions. And I think they have.
You know, it's something that just came to mind, and I don't know why I didn't think about it before, but, you know, maybe because we have a million things going on, but, but what if, I don't know if any of you would be willing to go with me, when this goes before the County Board of Commissioners, we go and we voice our opinion about, yes, we voted for this contract, but we need you to know that there was like a giant asterisk on our yes vote for this, right? Like, you need to know that this is what's happening and we're not happy, but what choice do we have?
Could always send a letter to all the board of board members.
We could.
County board.
I think looking at us in the face has to, you know.
Can we talk to the sergeant or to the person that, I don't recall his name, that came here?
Sure.
And say, you know, we had a kind of a rough go here in the commission meeting because we expected you to come back. You haven't. Can you tell us why you haven't? Did you plan to come back?
Sure.
I mean, did we not give you enough time? But at least give them the opportunity to
respond.
I'm not saying that they deserve that opportunity, but I'd like to make sure we try to keep some things cordial. And I'm not above going to, as you well know.
No, I
But,
do. Yeah.
There is, but first I would like to ask them, okay, did you not understand that we wanted you to come back?
Well, and maybe a softer approach is talking to our county commissioner, Antoinette Wallace, and saying, you know, this is the bottom line, right? The money. But this is the problems we're having. And we've tried to work through the system of addressing it with the actual powers that be. But we need you to know, as our representative, that this isn't happening. This isn't a good thing, you know, right now. So
I would like for them to hear the concerns from the community and that people are in fear of their safety, and that's different than before. We're not oblivious to the problem of homelessness, but and if they're doing so many patrols per shift, why are they still feeling this way? So having a law with patrols per shift is one thing, but how many times are they stopping and addressing the problem? Or do these residents and business owners and people who visit, do they feel they see enough presence of the sheriff's department? I know I brought that up during our work session, that as somebody who spends some time downtown, I'd like to see more presence on foot.
yeah,
We did at one time have that bicycle patrol downtown, which I think was
thing we couldn't do because we did
really good.
Wasn't there
They
one
had-
at
they
the,
had
where's they on the
stated that we
bikes
couldn't,
at the,
but
Yes.
on Friday
that's
night?
not true.
Fireworks too. Did they start the presents now, or is that in their planning that started?
So what they've told us is they've asked it. They've said that that they are increasing the patrols, and we have heard anecdotally through a couple of different channels that they have since arrested several people and taken them to the jail. So I mean that has increased because they're blaming it on me, which is fine.
Keep in mind, that's only, the stepped up patrols have been going on for a week and a half maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not been for a month.
But if we're hearing that this
Okay.
is happening this weekend,
Yeah, so that explains and understands, because it was about a week ago, couple different occasions, there were certain individuals who were without home that were on the street, and they said that they were told they had to move on or what have you. But after hearing their story and explaining, they were actually placed in shelters for 3 months. One preferred not to and said it's easier to be out on the streets because of how close the Salvation Army is that feeds them, and then that 560 Gratiot bus line. So, I mean, put myself in their shoes. They were like, no, I don't want to go to Oakland County. So it sounds like that it just started maybe about a week ago. So if it continues and they talk, then it may slow down. We just have to watch and see or have that conversation. I do agree, though, that we need to first go to our commissioner before bringing it to the whole board. At least go to her first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
another,
reach out to her.
just a secondary thought is, so trying to go after this from as many different directions as possible. Got a meeting with FAN next week just to see if there's anything they can do specifically about the downtown situation right now.
Yeah.
And it can't hurt.
But according to what Mickey was saying, it sounds like it's a whole new group, a whole
Yes.
different gang
It
type
is.
group that's all of a sudden shown up. I would think that the sheriff's department might know where they're coming from. I mean, they just didn't come to Mount Clemens. They must have been in one of the surrounding communities where they had problems.
Yes.
And so they shoved themselves down here now.
Yes.
They said they came out of Detroit.
Yes,
Out of
ma'am.
Detroit.
Wayne
Wow.
County Shelter.
Okay, so
Wayne County.
at least they know where they came from. They should have some record. But I was downtown today around 2:30, and they were all over by the clock tower. There was quite a few of them. There were, I mean, a couple benches and right around the clock tower. And I was sitting in the restaurant, and the next thing I know, the waitresses were running to the window. So something was happening, and then they got on the phone. I don't know if they called the sheriff's department or not, but something was taking place over there by the clock tower.
And that's
So I've seen that.
That's a good point too, when you say that they ran to the phone and call. We can't stress it enough that please call.
Yes.
Because every time it's documented through dispatch, it strengthens our need to say this isn't just anecdotal, right? These are reports. And so we please, if you're a business owner, a resident, anything, you see this stuff, please call. Please call through 911 is fine, but
Well, if we don't do something now,
That's
it'll be a
right.
bigger problem down
Exactly.
the road. So,
Because stories like this get repeated 100 times.
right, and people aren't gonna
Good
come down.
stories get repeated 10 times.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we have to stop it now.
yeah. All right. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Good. Go ahead, Commissioner Calhoun.
I made one more comment. I mean, I do want to, I think it's worth noting too, that our community is specifically not in the business of criminalizing homelessness. I'm someone that, I was homeless. I came to Mount Clemens, and thankfully I was housed in family with interventions, so I never, I didn't have to be on the street here in Mount Clemens. But I just wanted to be so clear that
Right.
we're not trying to criminalize homelessness. We want to make sure that there are more resources for people out there who need them. But at the same time, we need to make sure that our people downtown and across the city are safe. And so we have to balance those.
Thank you for clarifying that, because you're absolutely right. Yeah, thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
real quick, I noticed several residents mentioned how our residents who are homeless have now had to pull back from their normal areas as this new group moved in. And I think the fact that that came up several times really highlights what you're saying. Just wanted to point that out.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Anybody else? Okay, we will go ahead and call the roll, please.
Ritt,
Yes.
Yor. Yes. Calhoun,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Krapp,
Yes.
McGarity.
Yes.
Okay, we will move to 9C, parking study. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the parking study with Fishback Engineering as presented.
Do I have anyone support?
Oh, sport.
Okay.
I know you were waiting.
Bueller? No.
Normally somebody jumps up real.
Mr. Shipman?
Keeping in line with the city's strategic plan, the administration has consulted with Fishbeck Engineering to perform a parking study for all city-owned parking lots. The study will focus on current conditions, future needs, future development, additional parking options, enforcement policies, staffing structure, and a financial review. Input will be solicited from city staff, business owners, residents, and visitors. Fishbeck team will develop a parking strategic plan to address current concerns and direct policy decisions for the next 5 to 10 years. The parking fund has run in a deficit several times in its history. The fund will continue to suffer shortfalls if changes are not implemented. Those shortfalls would be subsidized by the general fund, which is something the city should avoid if possible. The Fishbeck parking team has completed hundreds of parking studies encompassing a wide range of communities. Administration recommends engaging them for a parking study as presented. And with us tonight, I think everybody knows Maria and John from Fishbeck. If you have any questions pertaining to the study.
If you guys want to come up to the microphone, that'll be great, because I'm sure there are.
So one question, how long do you think this is going to take?
I would plan about 6 months.
6 months?
In the spring.
You would start in the spring?
Oh, I'd start when you tell me, but
Okay.
if we started soon, I would plan on finishing in the spring.
Okay. And I don't see how it's not going to come out of the general fund, because the parking fund is already at a deficit without,
You mean the study?
yeah,
He's saying that.
The price of the study, you're saying?
yeah,
The cost of the study is going to come from
the fund.
the general fund.
I mean, we haven't done the new street lot yet, so there's money there now.
Okay.
So, but I mean, I think we're looking at spending money to save money. That's the idea.
Sorry.
Novel idea, I understand, but
We strive for that.
I know this might have been discussed earlier before I got here, but the downtown development included some changes to parking, but the parking study will be more than that, or that's what we're basing the changes on? How does that fit in with what I understood was part of the downtown development?
well, the only thing that's part of the development is we're redoing the new street lot.
Okay.
Currently, it has meters. It's right now the plan is there won't be meters. We're looking at kiosks.
Right.
But that's not etched in stone either, because that lot is not being done as part of the funding from the project. It's being done simultaneously, but it's with city funds, separate pool of money.
Okay.
Though would make sense, though, with respect to the meters and or kiosk and or however the heck we charge for it, that it all be the same. Otherwise, that would be strange
Well-
to have one system that did New Street and another system that would do
John could
Westcott.
probably answer better than I, but not necessarily, because some lots can be closed in where you would have the license plate style reading, where other areas, especially on-street parking, you wouldn't have that ability. So you aren't going to have exactly the same style parking throughout the downtown. It really is going to depend on the configuration of the lot versus street parking.
You can mix and match your technology and your policy to fit. Because a big lot may be handled differently than a small lot, say, and different things like that. But the goal would be to have an entire system that operates efficiently and allows you to get your job done.
New Street's also not scheduled to start until, I mean,
It's going to be 25 some point.
yeah, so I mean, it would be right about when the study comes out is when we would maybe break ground. So that would be the last part of it, right, is a kiosk system. So
theoretically, we could roll what we get from this into that, as long as there's no weird
Right.
grant speed bumps or something.
but
related to
that parking lot specifically, there's no grant.
Perfect.
I mean, kind of.
We certainly could take a specific look at that early on and say, hey, as you're working through design on this, here's the things that we think you should be looking at.
Yes, Commissioner Calhoun.
In addition to the online survey, would it be possible to have a paper survey or
a day where people could fill that out. I know that if it's just online, the information might skew towards younger people, which we want, a lot more younger people to come and enjoy Mount Clemens, including the parking process. But there's some folks who are not so tech savvy, so would it be possible to include that as a part of that? We've done that before. Leave paper copies in some public, city hall and some other places where people can access them if they'd like. We get a little uptake on that, not too much, but some.
Do we have, I think you said earlier that the debt is paid off from all the parking lots, so we have no debt right now, right? Okay.
All right.
For now.
Right.
Well,
Go ahead, Rick.
If it was in here and I missed it, I'm sorry, but will you take a look at what our current zoning regulations are regarding parking requirements in the area and how that would play into the broader plan?
Yes, we look at zoning and we look at pipeline projects or propose, even kind of maybe some big picture projects that you got over the next several years and say, okay, under current zoning, if this goes, here's what you're looking at. We also use some documents from the National Parking Institute and the Urban Land Institute to help project that out as well. So we have a model based on their ratios. We take your zoning and kind of make a soup out of it and tell you what we think you're going to face over the next several years.
Okay, thank you.
and the reconfiguration, you take a look at the way our Roscop lot is, that has been trouble from day one, the way it's reconfigured. I mean, snowplows have a heck of a time getting through with all the curves and the
As a driver,
twists and
I can't get
turns.
through.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure you would take.
We can take a look at those things, yeah, make sure that if there's more spaces to be gained or easier patron use to be gained,
yes,
then we'll take a look at that and make recommendations that, hey, we think you can change this and it'll be a better place to park.
But please don't make them too tight.
Yes.
I think they have to be a certain width, right?
Usually by code, but there's also industry standards as well.
Okay.
And there's downtown Detroit industry standards, and then there's not.
No, we don't want that.
And we get a little wider as we get further away from our urban core. So
yes, much wider.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions or comments?
I guess the only other question I have is, I understand the study will take 6 months, but in between that time, like you were saying too, there's meters that are falling over, there's meters that are in terrible shape, people can't see, they're getting tickets. What are we gonna do in the interim or the short term to alleviate that? Will somebody take a look at those meters and?
Well, I think, Jeff, you're aware of those situations. I know we talked about it. You got, a maintenance plan to keep them going, enough so we can get to the point where we make the changes.
Can you change the heads of the meters or the plastic that's over them?
Yeah.
Because down on Macomb Street by the Art Center, there's a number of them that you can't read. And people have been getting tickets.
If we can get the numbers, because they have numbers on the, or take a picture and send it to us and we'll.
I should tell them to take pictures.
Yeah, we'll get it to
Easiest.
Jeff. But
Somebody can just walk the.
I would hesitate to.
Yeah, but if the meter guy's walking around, he could take a look and see which ones.
I know.
I just.
I will make mention of that. I'm sure that makes
Thank you.
Yes.
Again, if it's in here and I missed it, I'm sorry. Are you going to be looking at electric car charging demand and placement and kind of including that in the...
Demand is a little tough to understand, especially since we've kind of seen this ramp up and now we're seeing this like pull back. But we will recommend locations and reasonable locations and opportunities to support the community through EV charging without you don't want to lose money on those spaces.
Right, and I suspect with the public feedback,
We can ask that question.
maybe I don't know what the
6, don't
demand's
we?
like either, but
We have
Four.
four.
We used to have
Two
two
proposed
And we have-
they're gone.
And we have two that
Oh, they're
operate.
gone?
The ones that were across from Orleans, there used to be two right there, they're gone.
Oh, I don't remember
I don't
those. I
remember
remember the ones
By
in front of the
Madison's
Coney,
and-
the ones that were by OU. There were two in the OU lot.
No.
My
No?
brother-in-law
No.
Where was it?
plugged
Two
in
by
there.
Madison's.
There's the two
3?
on Main Street
Two on
Two in
me,
Maine.
and the two in Roscoff by
Madison.
by Madison.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
only one operate at each side. And Mr. Shipman is going to be talking with the DDA next time. Is that one of the issues they're trying? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That dumpsters.
That dumpsters. So
Same stuff.
yeah. So
Can I go
I
with
thought
you?
we had one.
Yes.
yeah. So only one operate at each end, and they're so antiquated that they don't make parts for them any longer. So that's something we're talking about with the DDA that we need to. But again, we don't want to pull any triggers until.
yeah.
So.
It's a question, and preparedness is really the key without really going full bore into overbuilding. You don't, like anything else, you don't want to put all these up and have them sit there. So, but prepare and make availability for them as the demand does grow over time. And it will. We'll all be in electric cars at some point. So.
We've also asked our grant writer, Linda Davis Kirksey, and our grant extraordinaire commissioner, Eric Rick, to look for some opportunities for EV charging station grant money. So we got all these things working. So, all right. Anybody else got anything?
And the money's coming out of, we decided where the money's coming for this
The parking fund.
parking fund.
Okay, call the roll, please.
York,
Yes.
Calhoun,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
McGarity,
Yes.
Rick.
Yes.
Motion passes. We look forward to working with Fishbeck again. Thank
Us as
you.
well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Maria's still on the hook.
Yeah, she certainly is.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere for
Yeah.
a couple of years.
Stay right here.
All right, we'll move to 9D, purchases and payments. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the purchase and payments of invoices as presented.
Support.
Is there a cover letter? No. Questions or comments?
So this Midwest Power Systems isn't that isn't.
No, you'll see that next meeting.
Just another
Big spend.
yes. Yes. Keeping that sewer plant going. Anybody have any questions or comments?
As much as we don't like it, we all know it needs to keep.
We want to flush the toilets. All right, call the roll, please.
Calhoun,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
McGarity,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Okay, agenda item 10, consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Call the roll, please.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
McGarity,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Calhoun.
Yes.
Agenda item 11, city manager's report. Mr. Shipman.
The construction of the new playground structure at the Carnes Community Center is going well, and it is expected to be completed by the end of the month. I know the slide works because I saw the mayor go down the slide the other day.
Hey, you're not supposed to tell.
The Alter Court and High Street resurfacing projects are scheduled to begin on Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. This project is expected to last only a few days. The Olson Park Tennis Court resurfacing project has been completed and the courts are available to play.
All right.
Self-serve kayak rental lockers have been installed at MacArthur and Shadyside Parks, and we are inviting you to come and join this wave of excitement. Paddle your way to an unforgettable adventure. The user-friendly mobile app will make your kayak rental a breeze. Renting a kayak has never been easier. Mount Clemens Parks and Recreation Department Fall 2024 programming registration is currently in progress. We are offering a variety of youth, adult, and senior programming, which includes adult fitness classes, pickleball, a bus trip, CPR class, sewing and crochet clubs, basketball, floor hockey, and soccer. If you would like any further information, please contact Mount Clemens Parks and Recreation at 586-469-6800, extension 520. Absentee ballots will be mailed out the week of September 30th. Please contact the City Clerk's office for all questions regarding voting and elections. The Mount Clemens City Clerk's office was awarded a more responsive government grant in the amount of $17,000 from the Institute for Responsive Government. This nonpartisan grant aims to support local election offices that have prioritized the future of their voting systems. The grant funds will be used for the purpose of planning secure, efficient, and accessible election administration in the city. Our upcoming events: Mount Clemens State of the City, be Friday, October 25th at the Emerald Theater. Doors open at 8 a.m. Tickets are available at the Macomb County Chamber website, or you may call 586-493-7600.
Sorry, just making a note. Okay. Any questions or comments for Mr. Shipman? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to the second opportunity for the public to participate in the meeting. We ask that you come to the microphone, give us your full name, your residential address, and you abide by our 2-minute rule.
I told you I'd be back. 18200 Terra Drive, Clinton Township, Mickey Weiss. I want to briefly tell you about your mother's, Gumbo's, Artist Music, Studio 58, all on North Walnut. The park is a way that people pass through from the county to do lunch. Their lunch business has been impacted by the park being taken over, and some will walk around, but some won't. And they've told me about this about a week ago. And her students now are being escorted to their parents' cars because this group of homeless people are panhandling 8, 10, 12-year-old children. And it's disturbing to think that, and they caught me on my way down today. Studio 58 has elderly people that get their hair done. Yeah. They're afraid to come, but they're also escorting them. They call when they park, and the girls go to get them and walk with them. And I know we're all trying. Believe me, the businesses would be more than happy to go to the county commission meeting with you, just to be there in strength and speak if they need to, but they're being very patient. But we don't want to lose businesses over a safety issue, and I know you guys are working really hard, and I appreciate that, and they will too. And we just got to get our sheriff's department on board. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to address the commission?
Good afternoon. I'm Kyle Persiker at 61 North Walnut. I am a co-owner of Your Mother's Food and Spirits. I speak on behalf of most of them that are also with me. I've noticed some changes with the sheriffs. They do drive by, but when they drive by, it's more of a blind eye. They see people there and they're like, well, they're not crazy, so we're gonna let them go. The problem is I've turned into a personal bodyguard for either my staff or my patrons. They're afraid to walk to their own car at all times of the day now. It's this afternoon at 1:30, there was a small fight between the homeless, and they just scurried off and nothing got done about it. It's just becoming a major problem. Most of my staff is women, and I don't feel comfortable leaving them there by themselves at all anymore. It's not even day shift. It's to watch my neighbors and the rest of our patrons. A lot of like Mickey was just saying, it's the court people. They're afraid to come over for lunch. Like that's your peers, right? That's a major problem. And I'm a fairly new business owner. I've only been here close to 2 years, and I've learned that it's not that we hate homeless people. We've learned over the last 2 years we coexist. But this is an entire new group There, I've had multiple instances where my windows are being urinated on by a homeless person while I have a family with children. This is daytime. This is 6, 7 o'clock, my dinner rush. It's starting to become a handful. And when we call the sheriffs, I try to anonymously call, and the first thing they come is to my building and open my door and say, "What's the problem?" I don't want that, just a fear of them lashing out against us. And if I'm not there, I don't feel comfortable with that. That's not good. So, I know steps are being taken. It's just not enough. And, watching my neighbors, we're just without power for almost 3 days 2 weeks ago, and they were minding their own business, sitting in some lawn chairs in front. Oh, well, sorry. But, I'm a bodyguard, it's terrible. It just shouldn't be that way. So I appreciate your time, though. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Again, Jim DeFalco, 50 North Walnut, and a couple other businesses, whatnot. To reiterate, a couple things. Number one, I hope we need a parking study because we're bringing people down to a city that is safe and attractive for people to come. Well, first, we need to make sure that we have a city that's safe and attractive for people to come to need extra parking spaces, right? Number two, Ms. McGarity, Ms. Dempsey, Mr. Calhoun, you guys made great points. I appreciate all of them. Number one, right off the bat, yes, this is not a homelessness issue. This is aggressiveness and violence and other things. This is not about homelessness. We want to help homelessness, but not people that are taking advantage of situations, that are being fed in a specific place, being given money in a specific place, and finding that it's easier, like we said, to be in a specific place rather than an opportunity that's been given to them. Like you just said, you saw something today at 2:30. At 1:30, they were somewhere else being called upon. We talked about arrests that have been made. I believe the arrests have been made because we've been making more calls. I don't think it's about patrols. If we're making calls and every police officer in that station is showing up, that tells me they're available to show up. They're not making patrols, okay? Let's call it what it is. I worry a little bit about hearing that with this contract, we might be being, raked over the coals, held hostage a little bit by the fact that what is our other choice? And they maybe know that. So that scares me a little bit, that we might be offering just what it is because that's all we can offer, and they know, well, you're going to do what we want because what else are you going to do? And what happens if they say no? Is there a plan for that? I don't know that. That's not a question to answer in my little 2 minutes. But my point is, there's a lot of questions, right? And we're all concerned about a major thing, and I hear that you're all working on it and you're diligent about it, and that's not a question about what you're trying to do, but there's definitely some questions to be answered and some major issues to be addressed. So.
Anybody else have any questions? I mean, would anyone like to address the commission?
Last questions.
All right, seeing none, we will move on to commissioner comments, and I will start with Commissioner Yor.
Thank you. Usually at this time I talk about all the great things about the city and they're there. No, I enjoyed a lot of things over the last 2 weeks, and we had lots of family in town and they enjoyed it. But I just want to give my appreciation to those of you who took the time to come here tonight and speak to us. When I'm out in the community and people have things to say, I just keep encouraging them to come to a meeting. It means so much more to hear it from you. And I really just appreciate that. And it gives us direction, and it gives us a new perspective. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner McGarry.
My heart is very heavy. It is very heavy. I've heard the stories, but to hear the specifics of it is very troubling to me. And I feel that I have not done what I could do. And I will personally have a conversation with some members from Macomb County. Patrolling is one thing. I can patrol and walk past my children's bedroom, but until I go in there, that's what makes the difference. Now, whether it makes a difference or not, I don't know, but I know what I can do. And so you're just a few of the people that are expressing concern. And it's not like each single one of us don't care and concerned, because we live in this city. And what we will not have in this city that is growing so good is scared to walk out of a restaurant to your car to see somebody urinating on a window of a car. You could have went in the grass. I mean, it's purposefully, something is not right. You don't see this in Rochester Hills. You don't see this in St. Clair Shores. You don't see this in Bloomfield Hills. You will not see it in Mount Clemens. We have to do something. And I truly believe that we will see a change, because I know that Madam Mayor, I'm so fired up, I can't even think what it's Mr. Shippen, yes, please forgive me. It just hurts my soul, because
I'm used to that.
if each one of us try to have that conversation, maybe, and it may be with somebody different, something to click. Because my concern is what if this was your mother? What if this was your daughter? We're talking about building our city. Every meeting we come to, our city manager is working so hard and doing the things that we voted on and said yes to. But I'm not going to go in the city and stuff like this happen. I don't care what kind of parking structure and so forth you have. So let's do this together. Keep calling on the phone. Say you need some patrol, what is it called when they just happen to ride through, safety check. Don't assume that when you see somebody arguing, it's not going to escalate to a fight. Let them know that it's out of control. Our jurors won't come out of the rooms. I'm sorry. I'm just, I'm troubled. But when I'm troubled, I think of what can I do? And if the Lord bless me to get up tomorrow, I'm going to start my conversation. Continue to do what you're doing, but continue to talk about how good our city is. I have two things to end. Michelle, I'm sorry that happened to you. You have such a good heart. Michelle is the one that does all of our events in Mount Clemens. Been doing it for years. And for somebody to take your card and then you say that's all you can. Woo, I wish I was with you. I do. Lord help me. I'm so serious, because they're hurting people that they don't know. We represent Mount Clemens. Keep doing what you're doing. We're going to do this thing together. We're going to come to the next meeting and say, come back to the next meeting and let us know if you saw any improvement. Come back, because we want to hear complaints, but we want to hear some good things too, right? I'm going to do better. The other thing I wanted to bring was for our veterans. I have to look at Mr. Ray. There's a 2024 stand down. I won't even read the details of something coming up where you just come in. If you are a veteran or you know a veteran, they don't want to miss this event. It's they receive food, but they also receive so much information. And right now, if you know of a veteran that's facing an eviction or homeless, have them to call Macomb County Community Action Center. We pay for them. Veterans are priority. There's money aside. Huh?
You might want to say the date, since it's this week.
Do you read it for me?
It's for, I just happened to notice it's September 18th and 19th, which, today's the 16th, so.
It's close. Thank you. From 9 to 5. I'm not going to ask for forgiveness to hear the stories really hurts. But thank you for sharing, because we won't do if we don't hear. Okay? We're in Mount Clemens together, right? I'm done. Finished.
Thank you for listening.
We all did.
Once again, I have to follow her.
You wait till it gets over here. Usually.
Well, first of all, I want to thank the DDA, and especially Mickey Weiss, for an amazing summer, for all the events. That last concert was so much fun, and you've just done a marvelous job, and I really thank you for all that. We owe you. And the thing is, that night when we were tearing down, everybody's leaving after the concert, she's got her bag of red plastic bags to put over the meters, because she has to stay, which makes me even more nervous now after I've listened to all of you, that you should have said something, because Patrick would have stayed, and certainly we would have stayed, because you shouldn't be there by yourself doing that.
People did offer, but I'm not afraid when they say, I'll never do it.
I know you're not afraid, but we don't want anything to happen to you either.
They should be afraid of her.
Perhaps they are.
But don't let this, I mean, you did an incredible job. And I will say that night, there was one incident. It was nothing major. We blew it off. We had gone down to Champagne Chocolates, and there was a guy that was kind of came in scared, you know, I mean, just kind of pushing his way in. He clearly was higher than a kite on something. And fortunately, my son was there, and he just played nice and got the guy away from the rest of us. But yeah, it's not pleasant, you know, it's not nice, and we all have to do whatever we need to do to take care of this problem. And hopefully, it would be great if we could get these people help, but if we can't, they need to move on. And the sheriffs need to hear about it. I would suggest taking the YouTube video of this meeting and sending it directly to the sheriff's department, and then they can hear it firsthand. But again, Mickey, don't let it detract from an amazing summer. Thank you so much for everything. And one last time, everyone, this Thursday night is the annual art party. Please, Sheriff, be around to keep these, yeah, because that would be not good. Because it is outside in a tent. But the weather is supposed to be great, and so I hope and encourage all of you to attend, and it's really a fun time. So tickets are available. Thank you.
Commissioner Dempsey.
Well, after that, I'm not going to go through the same thing. I feel strongly that we absolutely need to make sure that we're safe downtown. There's been, there's always perceptions that Mount Clemens isn't safe. We've heard it for so long. And we always said, that's not right. It's not true. Mount Clemens is safe. But now I am concerned more than ever with the stories that I'm hearing and what I, saw today. So we will do whatever we possibly can to make sure that that perception stays far away and we clean this up. I think we're all committed to that. It's our town. Right. Most of us been here a long time. So thank you for coming out. Please come again, like next meeting, let us know if it's changes. And we'll keep in contact with some of the other businesses. I know, Mickey, you keep contact with your mothers, and I get it from Gus's Coney Island. I talk to them very often and that. So, yes, we will absolutely do what we can. And with that, the cemetery walk is October 5th for the Cracker House, and tickets are still available at the Cracker House Museum. So please come. And do you have tickets for the art? Do you have any? Okay.
I do, but you can get them online too.
Oh.
And at the door. Right?
And at the door.
At the door. For the door, it's more, right?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
You hold the price.
Thank you.
Don't give Matt that idea.
Commissioner Calhoun.
Alrighty. I've got a lot here. Sorry. But thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for choosing Mount Clemens to be your home and the place where you do business. I'm thankful when I'm hungry that I can go to a restaurant downtown and enjoy a good meal. So I appreciate that, but also really the value that is provided for the entire community. We need to make sure that we're holding the sheriff's office accountable. I've been to meetings in Clinton Township, I've been to meetings in East Point, other communities. The police chief or the public safety director is there at those meetings because the concerns of the community in this public forum, the concerns of the members of the board are that important. In the future, I'm not saying that they need to be here at every meeting. In the future, I'd love to see them really make an effort to improve on this. I do feel that we are held a little hostage because we don't have other options. I feel like this is something we go over with a lot of issues we have to consider. It's time for Macomb County to step up. And so we're doing our best here.
Yes.
All right. Here's some good news. I want to congratulate the Mount Clemens Battling Bathers varsity football team for their third consecutive win of the season. So they're 3-0. So they're on a good winning streak. Feeling good for them. Also, the Mount Clemens Historic Commission is seeking homes to feature on this year's Mount Clemens Holiday Homes Tour. If you'd like to have your home featured, contact Nick DiStefano, and he said I could get his number out, on 586-372-9044. So they are looking for more homes, please give them a call if you'd like to have yours featured. Mount Clemens Parks and Recreation is having its third community listening session on September 26th at 6:30 p.m. at the Clemens Community Center. If you couldn't make it to the first two, please come to the third one and make your voice heard on what you'd like to see with our Parks and Recreation Department. The Wayne Mobile Health Unit will be at Mount Clemens High School on Saturday, October 5th, 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. to provide screening for diabetes, cholesterol, kidney function, blood pressure, and many other services. You do not need an appointment, ID, or insurance to be seen. So once again, 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. on October 5th. The last one is a little bit more sad, but it's one I want to thank the Macomb Fallen Heroes Memorial for continuing to put on a program on September 11th for members of the community and law enforcement to gather and remember those who died in the line of duty. I also want to pass along condolences to the family of Michigan State Police Motor Carrier Officer Daniel Kersetter, who passed away following a fatal crash on I-75. And I want to mention that Michigan has a move-over law which requires motorists to slow down and move over for stationary vehicles like police, cars, fire vehicles, road service vehicles, if they have their lights on. Failing to do so carries a fine of $400 and 2 points on your record. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Rick.
Thank you. As everyone else said, thank you very much for coming here and letting us know. Please continue to let us know. Encourage the other businesses to let us know if the response you're getting from the sheriffs isn't what you need. Let us know that too. If you can't make it to the meeting, go to the website, use the report an issue. Also, if something goes well, you can let us know that too. It's nice every once in a while, but you see more than we do because you're there much more than we are. Keep letting us know. Hold us to account so we can hold them to account. I'd like to thank the Beautification Committee for their Yard of the Year presentations and the work they do helping make Mount Clemens more beautiful. They put in a lot of time, and it's nice being able to get the residents involved in that process. I'd like to make sure everyone is aware the Macomb County Senior Fun Festival is this Thursday at the Verkulen Building from 10 to 1. They'll have all kinds of vendors, support services, you name it, they will have it. I have it on, last year Rory the Lion was there. He might be there again this year. It's a good chance. Congratulations to the clerk's office on being awarded that grant. Always nice to see an office that does amazing work get rewarded with money to do it better and easier. I'd like to also thank Representative Menser, Commissioner McGarity, who were able to rope together a whole bunch of people for a community resources event at the Carnes Center. It was really cool to see how much resources and organizations and entities all came there to support our citizens. I mean, I was able to renew my license plate without waiting in line. It was great.
Shouldn't have added that part.
And the only reason I didn't get my license plate right then is because I was asking for the Navy one. They printed a license plate there for someone. Just walked up and walked out with a new plate.
Oh no,
it's great.
Can we do that in January?
But, and then I've got to give my normal pitch. I appreciate everyone who already is doing so much work in this city. But if you're interested in doing more work, there are openings on our boards, committees, and commissions if you would like to serve in a more formal way. And more information on those boards, committees, and commissions can be found on our website or by calling the city at 586-469-6800. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Rick, is the safety commission one?
The traffic safety?
Traffic.
Is it?
It's traffic safety.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good thought.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, like everyone else has said, we really appreciate your feedback and your comments and just showing up to the meeting. We can't possibly be everywhere all the time, so to know what issues you're facing is really valuable to us. The State of the City address will be at the Emerald Theater on October 25th, 2024. We will be having a performance by the North Broadway Church of Christ Choir. So Commissioner McGarity, thank you for that. And we're really excited. The theme of the State of the City address will be Seasons of Change. So we are excited about that and terrified, as always, because it's a nerve-wracking speech for some of us. The art party I'm looking forward to. It's always a great event. I highly encourage everyone to attend. It's really fun, lots of good restaurants, good entertainment. Fun night. So I have coffee talks coming up in October 8th at 9:30 a.m. at John's Family Grill. Again, October 10th at 6:30 p.m. Black Cat Coffee. Come and hear about what we're doing in the city. It's an awesome way to just have some dialogue and to give some feedback as well. So if you are a little bit intimidated by a group of 7 people staring back at you, it's a little bit less formal than that. So I want to thank Commissioner Rick for his contribution of an incredible gift to the city for the paddles. Our city mascot is Paddles, the rubber duck, and Eric invested and had a huge Paddles costume made. You may have seen him on our social media last week when we braved the Clinton River and it was awesome in our kayaks. Paddles made his debut in one of the pictures. So we're going to watch our social media because Paddles is going to be making some further appearances. But he walked down the middle of Macomb Place on Saturday afternoon and had quite a few people requesting his picture. It was a kind of nice to walk with Paddles. Nobody cared about if I was there.
Do you do birthday parties?
Nobody complained about that garbage to Paddles. It was awesome. I want to thank Hunch Free on that note, because Hunch Free has done a ton of work for us this week in helping us formulate 2 marketing campaigns. One towards these new kayak rentals and getting people to use and see the beauty in our Clinton River. And we had a great time on the river. Kayaking. It's actually, we had such a great time. Elaine brought her friend and went the next on Saturday. So we really, I think, underutilized the Clinton River through Mount Clemens, and so we're hopeful that showing and showcasing that it will have a far reach to residents of Mount Clemens to use it. It's a very easy process. Getting in at MacArthur with that barrier-free launch makes it super easy. Nobody ended up in the river. It was great. And Hunch Free is also doing a campaign with us to try to attract boaters who might be out on the lake or have a boat along the river but further up the river to come to Mount Clemens and use our docks and then use our downtown. So we spent Saturday on my boat, taking a lot of film and trying to kind of show the way and show how to navigate, but also see the beauty that is the Clinton River. I like to say, a rough day out on Lake St. Clair is a really smooth trip down to Mount Clemens. So I think we, are really excited to have Hunch Free on board, helping us with our social media, but also with these special projects as well. So we are excited to keep moving the city forward, and we're going to work on the issues that are those speed bumps along the way. So if there is nothing else at this time, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session to consider the purchase of real estate property.
Go for it.
You want to stay, we can.
I move to go into closed session to consider the purchase of real property.
Support.
I'm not sure why it says that, but I know, it's okay. That's fine. We got a support?
That was me
too?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions or comments about that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll take a 5-minute break before we go into closed session.
Let's just do it.
Welcome back. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Pick a person.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.